Construction Law, and today I got something special for you. I am in Tallahassee. I had to fly up here this morning and talk to some contractors and take care of business, and I'm going to spend the rest of the afternoon here with my guys up in Tallahassee. I wanted to talk about our place up here and kind of introduce you to them and tell you what's going on. So Anthony's been, how long have you been with me now? 5 years?
Seems like a long time.
I think it's been like 5 years. It's been a long time. So Anthony is a certified building contractor. He has the OSHA 10, the OSHA 30, the HAZWOPER 24, asbestos training. What else am I missing?
There's a couple more in there, but I think that's the gist of them.
Okay, and he is also, for those of you who don't know, he is the general counsel for the Tile Roofing Institute and general counsel for the Capital City Roofing Contractors,
yes, sir.
Which he's trying to, along with some other people, trying to get it off the ground and get it running again. So, doing good work there. We got Travis. Travis you are Army Reserve, right? And tell them what you do and how you do it.
Right now I'm a company commander in an Army engineer company. It's a sapper, combat engineer. We have some carpentry and masonry specialists, some field mechanics, and a good group of guys.
So for those of you that follow us, you know that we take sport and vets pretty seriously. We've got several people in addition to Travis. We've got Justin in our office of paralegal that is a former Army, and we also have Dowlin, who is Army Reserve. So we actively look to recruit vets. We also support a charity, Black Dagger Military Hunt Club, which is a great 501c3 out of MacDill Air Force Base. What they do is they do adaptive sporting, fishing, hunting for vets that have been injured in combat, or vets in general that might have PTSD, whatever it might be. And the reason why that's important is because the biggest thing that we've seen, Travis, you can probably attest to this, is that when you're in the Army, there's a lot of camaraderie. And a lot of these guys and gals are going through very tough times, and they're having to deal with stuff. When they come back here to the States, some of that camaraderie is gone, and the suicide rate is very high. So one of the things that this organization does is they create adaptive equipment that allows them to go out and do stuff that they like to do. So shooting and hunting and fishing, and allows them to be around, you know, the other people that also serve. So great charity. I encourage you guys to take a look at it. Dave Wonders, who it heads it up, fantastic guy, and they do great work. So, and then I'll take the camera from Josh here. Josh is Josh is clerk with us, and Josh, you just finished your second year at FSU Law, is that right?
No, I just finished my first year.
Oh, first year at FSU. Yeah, I'm giving you another year there. So, Josh has got a little bit of a construction background. He's helping us out, and hopefully we'll be seeing more of him in the future here. So, I'm going to turn it back to him. So the point of doing these Facebook Live sessions, and this is our second one, so bear with us, we're still figuring stuff out, is really twofold. One is you get to see what we're like. You know, we're real lawyers, but we don't act like lawyers. So a lot of times we're just we just had lunch together, we're talking about normal things, and I think that's one of the
mostly normal.
Semi-normal. But the thing that differentiates us, I think, from other attorneys is that we don't take ourselves too seriously. We are experts at what we do. We do great work. You know, we've been very blessed and honored with a lot of awards and credentials, but I think it's good that you get to kind of see the personalities here. What I want to talk to you a little bit about today, though, is OSHA. And I've got the man, the myth, the legend here, Anthony Tilton, who does a lot of our OSHA practice. So let me tell you a little bit about our OSHA practice before we get started. And I know if you guys have questions, add them in the comments section, and Josh will shout it out to us if he sees a question. So our OSHA practice is nationwide. We probably have OSHA cases in 27, 28 states right now.
Most of them, yes, sir.
Yeah, and we don't just do construction, even though that's the bulk of what we do. We also do agricultural, manufacturing.
A lot of heavy industry, bottling plants and facilities. Anywhere there's active employment going on, OSHA has jurisdiction. And you might see them, and we get involved.
And we've also done some MSHA work too, some mining stuff. So Anthony leads the charge with that, and you know we've been very fortunate because of his hard work. We've been OSHA Defense Law Firm of the Year for 3 years in a row now for the U.S. And he's also co-author with us on the OSHA Defense for Construction Industry best-selling book on Amazon. So Anthony, I know I had asked some people ahead of time, and I tried to actually promote this video unlike the last one. We had some questions in advance, so I'm going to ask you some of those, and if we get some others, we'll kind of go through that.
Fantastic.
So, first question I got is a hypothetical, and it was something along these lines. Contractor's out on a job site, he's got people up on the roof, they're not tied off, OSHA shows up, and they want to start interviewing employees. And one of the questions I often get asked, and I'm sure you get asked as well, is, do we sign a witness statement? And I guess I just wanted, I know what I think about it. I figured, you go ahead and tell the world what you think.
Well, as with any lawyer answer, it depends.
Right.
And one of the biggest things, first off, if we didn't have any PPE on site, no harnesses or anything, shame on us. We got to get better, and we got to train. But in the event that does occur, and the officers on site, it's always a good idea. We say a lot, cooperate but advocate. They have the absolute right to interview your employees. They have the absolute right to question them about safety and health. But it's up to the employee to decide whether or not they want to sign a statement or give a statement. It's completely up to them. There's a lot of confusion about whose right it is during an OSHA interview, and the right belongs to the employee. He or she has the option to keep it confidential. He or she has the option to sign a statement or not. Now, one of the biggest things there is when you talk about a supervisor or a manager on site. That's a game changer. Under the federal laws and a lot of state laws, a lot of state OSHA programs, a manager or a supervisor is actually an arm of the company. So anything that individual says binds the company. So I never ever advocate, I don't ever like to see supervisors, managers, people in managerial positions giving a signed statement without counsel present. I recommend that you have counsel present, and I recommend that if you're going to sign a statement, make sure it's your words and it accurately reflects everything that you said on site.
That's directly on point. And one of the things that's key to note is obviously a lot of what we do is OSHA defense, but some people mistake that and don't understand exactly what we do or how we do it. We are safety advocates. We assist from start to finish. So we do a lot of safety training. We've done, we've got at least half a dozen people in our office that have OSHA 10s. I got the OSHA 10, OSHA 30. We talked about Anthony's credentials. We do toolbox talks. There's a lot of stuff during an inspection where we help out. I know we've been called out to job sites plenty of times while OSHA's there. We assist with the citation process, but we also handle appeals and everything from there. The one thing to keep in mind is that when you're talking to a COSHO or talking to anybody from OSHA, always tell the truth. Okay, it's important to understand your rights and know your rights, but you don't ever want to be in a position where you're not telling the truth. So what we advocate for is make sure you understand what rights and responsibilities you have. The example that we always give is that if it's a criminal investigation, you get the Miranda rights.
Absolutely.
Right? Somebody says you got the right to remain silent, you got the right to return, all that kind of stuff. You don't get that with OSHA, right, guys? I mean, it's not that kind of thing. So what we're trying to do is just help you understand what you can do and what you can't do if OSHA shows up to your job site. Now, along those lines, one of the things that I often get called on is to take a look at safety policies. And one of the biggest things that I've seen issues with are disciplinary policies. And I know that you're a big advocate of making sure that there's not just the stick, but there's also the reward.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
So under the law, under the current OSHRC case law, a lot of people throw this around. It's unpreventable employee misconduct, which means it ain't my fault. He or she should have had their harness on. He or she should have had their safety glasses on. It's their fault. It doesn't work like that. If you're going to build the defense of unpreventable employee misconduct, you've got to have the documentation in order to support that. And it's not as simple as it sounds. You've got to have the programs in place. You have to have proof that you're conveying those programs to the employees. And the second and third element are always the hardest. It's what are you doing to enforce that? What sort of discipline are you taking on these employees if they are caught being non-compliant? And then the fourth element is how can we prove to OSHA and the Occupational Safety and Health Review Commission that we're doing unannounced audits of our sites or our facilities in an attempt to find non-compliant employees. If you can prove all that and you can put it all together, you can put together an unpreventable employee misconduct defense. But what Trent was saying, and it's something that we've actually tried to be the forerunners on, is don't always lead with the whip, oftentimes lead with a carrot. So the case law says, fine, what are you doing to discipline these folks? Are you fining them? Are you terminating, suspending them? but what are you doing to reward them?
Right.
And we've actually been going around. We've got Travis actually just drafted up a Safest Man of the Day program. It's anything you can do to get these people, get to their wallet. I don't care who they are. If you're an employee, your wallet speaks volumes, and if you're entitled to a gift card or a Saturday buffet lunch on the boss, it'll make you wear your harness. It'll make you put on your hard hat. And those are some of the programs we're trying to put together to, obviously we want to discourage bad conduct with discipline, but we want to encourage good conduct with rewards if it's possible.
Yeah, and one of the key things is, and we see this over and over again, Travis and I were talking about it the other day, is, you guys that are watching this, I know you've all got safety policies. You've probably paid a lot of money for them. They're beautiful, they're spiral bound, and they're sitting on the shelf. But what OSHA's looking for is they're looking for a culture of safety. And what that means is that it's from the top to the bottom. So management, you guys know what the safety rules are. You can talk about swing radius or, ladder tie-offs or things of that nature intelligently. But if your crew can't do that, then you're not effectively doing what you need to do in order to convey that information. So one of the things that you got to keep in mind is that if you're doing a safety audit, let's say you've got a dedicated safety professional and they find something wrong, you got to retrain, and you guys have, for those of you that have heard any of us speak before, you know that one of the things I say that in construction, it doesn't matter what you're talking about, it doesn't matter if it's OSHA, workers' comp, employment issues, the party with the best paper wins the day. And that's it. So
did not happen if you didn't write it down.
Yeah, if it's not in writing, by paper I mean electronic now as well. But, one of the things that we try to also do is draft and come up with retraining documentation. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, sir. The old ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. If you've gotten to us before OSHA's on site drafting up their citation, we actually can do a little bit of good. And I really like what you said. You got a beautiful, beautiful bound safety manual on your shelf. But that doesn't matter. What are you doing with it? How is it being implemented? We see all the time clients coming in with just huge invoices from third-party safety companies, and there's a lot of great ones. But sometimes you'll see a huge invoice from a third-party safety company who's drafted all these documents, and they're not practical. Nobody's using them. They're sitting on the shelf, and that's not keeping people safe on the job. So we like to keep it simple, keep it as simple as possible. I could hand a document to your day laborer or your shingle guy, your shingle toter about, you said swing radius, the 6-foot fall protection parameters. I could put in the chemical analysis for silica, but that's not effective. He or she reading that document on site, it's not going to educate them on the rules. Simple is better. We like to put together very simple documents which are outlining what your role is as a worker, what the role is as the employer, your access to the protective equipment, when you should use it, how you should use it. And again, like Trent said, if they don't sign it and you don't print it and put it in a binder, it didn't happen. And so that's why it's incredibly important to paper the file, as you've always said.
Yeah, and one of the things that we really advocate for is being proactive. It's a lot of times we get called in a reactive nature. Something bad has happened. So we're big believers in taking the time now. So if you're sitting watching this on a Friday afternoon, think about your own safety policies. Think about what your retraining documents, your disciplinary policies, and take action now so that when the time comes, you're prepared. And that's really the message of, I guess, today's law and mortar topic.
Well, I like that.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Jim Flynn in our office came up with that. So next week, I'm going to talk to another lawyer in our office, and then I'm flying out to Portland for Western States. I'm going to be speaking out to an organization out there, so may do one out there. We'll have to see. But tune in for that. We're going to be promoting it. Obviously, if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to hit us up on Facebook. We'll try to incorporate whatever questions you've got into the next seminar. And I guess I just want to end by saying, really proud to be here with you guys. These guys are the best. I always say it takes a lot of people to make me look good. And these guys are fantastic. Anita is our marketing coordinator. Anita, if you're watching this, I want one of these shirts.
Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, I don't even have one of these shirts, and he's got one. So I want one of those shirts. So I thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. And tune in next week for more. So thank you.